Hello, everybody. Welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door. And we've finally got there now. 10 games to go for most championship teams, which means this video is all about the race for the top two. Who is going to make it over the line without those playoffs and up into the promised land of the Premier League? Now, the eagle-eyed amongst you will have already noticed I've only put 4 pictures up in there. So, straight away, this video assumes that the race for the top two is between 4 teams. Now, I will happily come back on here in 5 games' time if there are more teams in the race for the top two. But that would presume that the 3 teams chasing Norwich, we're talking Watford, Swansea and Brentford, all projecting above the 10-year average for automatic promotion as things stand, are going to all collapse at the same time whilst either Reading or Barnsley come into the picture. If that happens, I will happily make another video. Of course, the chances are that won't happen. But let's have a look at the current top 6. Now, my logic in this video kind of presumes that Norwich on 79 points, and you can see we've bet 365, 33 to 1 on to finish in the top 2, are going to win first place. That seems a fairly safe bet. Again, we'd be looking at something like Emi Buendia, Teemu Pukki, well, no, let's say it basically. Emi Buendia getting injured basically for the rest of the season and the biggest Devon Lock-like collapse in history. But you can see the rest of the table there. We have Watford on 69 with a 3-goal advantage in the goal difference over Swansea in third, who are also on 69 but have a game in hand. And then Brentford, who also have 11 to play, 3 points further back. Then we have Reading and Barnsley 5 points further back, but having played a game more than both third and fourth. Watford, with bet 365, other betting companies are available, are 6 to 4. I think possession being 9/10 of the law there, and the bookies hedging their bets somewhat. Couldn't think of a better term. Brentford are 13 to 8. Swansea are actually outsiders at 15 to 8. You can see Reading 50 to 1 and Barnsley 66 to 1. Now, I trust my 10-year averages, but looking at where we're going with this, we might need to make some adjustments. This could be, and it looks like it's going to be, a high tide season at the top. The 10-year average says first place 88 points or greater than 87, i.e. the last 10 second place teams have scored on average 87.7, which means you've needed 88 to win the title over the last 10 years. We're going to assume Norwich are going to beat that quite easily. They're projecting out 100 points. And second place, 84, i.e. greater than 83, everybody is projecting to be above that. So I'm going to be adding 5% on to cope with a high tide season in these calculations. Let's go through team by team. Norwich, as I've already said, is a fairly safe bet for the title. We don't need to say too much about Norwich. They are first. They're on a whopping 2.19 points per game and actually projecting to hit the 100-point mark. And in terms of the actual race home, if you look at how the fixtures play out for Norwich, their easier games are within the next 5. So we would be fairly reasonable to suspect 5 at home, 5 away, 4 top half opponents, 6 bottom half. Norwich could well be promoted with possibly 3 games to go, or if they have this 8-game winning streak continues, maybe even 4 games to go. You never know. They could get themselves 12 points clear with 4 to go. We'll see what the runners and riders do. So I've added on the 5% to make for a high tide. So we're looking at 88 points perhaps rather than 84 to get guaranteed automatic promotion. Who knows? Numbers may change. Leaves Norwich needing 8 points from 10 games. at 0.8 points per game, which is pretty much a third of their current output. 2 wins, 2 draws is what we think Norwich would need over the last 10 games to get to 88 points. Look, they're going to do it, aren't they? Unless there's some kind of miracle. You can see the last 5 games, look, Bournemouth, Watford, Reading, Barnsley in there. But the next 5 coming up, Forest, Blackburn, Preston, Huddersfield, Derby, there's every chance they could score 12, 13, 15 points in the next 5. My God, that put them on a 13-game winning streak, wouldn't it? So let's be sensible here and assume that on the basis that Norwich are very good, I would make Webber the best sporting director, Buendia the best player, Farker the best manager. Plus, they saved their pennies, didn't they? So I'm sure the bank balance and the finances look better than everybody else. We think they're going to win the league. So can we all move on and look at the race for second place with the next 3 teams? Right. Now it gets interesting. So there are Watford. We can see them in second place in the table. And the info goal, taking into account XG and everything, the projection has them finishing second. The bookies also have Watford finishing second. Remember, this is another year 1 parachute team, recently relegated team, new manager, new system to the 4-3-3, results picking up ludicrously good home form as well. Some sense that they haven't quite hit top gear at any point really in this season. Well, it beat Bristol City 6-0, didn't they? But otherwise, so Watford are in second place, 1.91, 88.16 projected. Remember, they're tied with Swansea. So if we're looking at it purely in points per game, Swansea would finish above Watford on the basis of that extra game. Now, Watford have 5 home games, 5 away games, but they have 6 top half opponents, 4 bottom half, and look at the run-in. Norwich away, 4 games out, Brentford away, 2 games out, and potentially the mother of all championship decider games, Watford versus Swansea on the final day of the season. We'll come back to this game because it could be absolutely key, especially for Brentford fans. So to reach 88, Watford would need to hit 19 points in the 10 games. 1.9, well, they're already at 1.91, so that would be the rest of the season. There's some sign that they're improving as well. So you could argue they could actually be better than they have on the basis of games 1 to 36. Who knows? 6 wins, 1 draw and 3 defeats would get the 19 points that would take them to 88, which is a number I'm pulling out of the air. It's the 10-year average plus 5%. But, God, could it be even more? Could this be a very rare occurrence? I think we're looking at about 1998 for 3 teams with 90 points. Could we get that repeated? A 23-year high? Who knows? That's about the size of it for Watford. So here are Swansea. Now, if you're a Swansea fan, you'll be looking at the projections and the 1.97 points per game, and that will give you a lot of solace because Swansea, a team with very good defence, good manager as well, Steve Cooper, is doing a great job there. Saw a stat today as well that said over the last 46 game sample, which is a season, well, it's a season's worth of games, it's not a season, and that's a key differentiation between that. They've got 88 points, which most of the time would indeed get you promoted, wouldn't it? So, if the projections hold out, they're going to get the 90 points. But will the projections hold out? There seems to be a little sense of tiring, a little slight drop-off, some late penalties that we've heard all about. So, they have 11 games remaining, a game in hand on Watford, who they're tied on points with. And again, look at that goal difference. 3 in it, conceded exactly the same amount. Looks so tight. 5 top half opponents, 6 bottom half. Just look at the last 2 away games, though. Reading away, Watford away again. We've already mentioned that on the last day of the season. So, they would need 19 points, but from 1 game more to get to my potentially arbitrary total of 88. at 1.73, which is a bit of a drop-off from what they've done throughout the season. But there is a sense that their performance has had a slight drop-off from what they've done. Just on the eye test, they're still picking up the points. They've got a very good defence, and they've got the extra game. I know Brentford have got the extra game. We'll come on to that. But they've got a 3-point advantage over them. Are you keeping up? So here are Brentford. Brentford are in 4th. A little bit lower on the points per game. 1.88. Remember, we're talking about 1.88, plays 1.91, plays 1.97. This is tight. Yeah, this is very, very tight. So they're projecting 86.74, which I know over the normal 10-year average, that's got promotion. That would have got you promotion last year if you were West Brom, if you were Brentford, because they were close enough last year, weren't they? They also have 11 games remaining, 6 at home, 5 away. Sheffield Wednesday away to be confirmed. Sorry, that is copied from my previous slide, which should have mentioned that there. Swansea's game against Sheffield Wednesday still needs to be scheduled. So ignore that on the screen if you don't mind. Should have taken that away. 5 top half opponents, 6 bottom half opponents. The run-in, Cardiff, Bournemouth, then Rotherham, Watford is a big one, 2 games out, and Bristol City. So if it does go down to a nervy last day, and it's tight, you'd want to be Brentford. Because I wonder if Watford and Swansea cancel each other out on the last day and Brentford sneak through. Who knows? Might all be done by then. We hope not. That would be very exciting, would it? So to reach 88, now their target's quite difficult because it's 2 points per game, which is kind of a magic number in Championship football. Well, in any 46-team league, or 46-game league rather, kind of guarantees you the title, 2 points per game. So we need essentially title-winning form for Brentford to get to my 88-point number, which may or may not be where we need to get to. But that's where I'm kind of landing now. 7 wins, 1 draw and 3 defeats would get you those 22 points. Can they do it? I wonder. So, what could decide it? I've just put some factors up here. Injuries. Now, you'd look at it already and say, well, Brentford are already without Rico Henry, Pontus Jansson, Christian Norgaard's just come back, Josh De Silva's out. So they would have people coming back who could really, really help them, wouldn't they? So there's a chance that they could improve. Remember, perhaps an injury to Ivan Toney. Maybe out of those 3 teams, there's that one key player. Maybe Brentford have the most influential key player. I don't know. People could argue that with maybe Sarr at Watford, but it doesn't feel as influential as Toney, perhaps. Watford, players coming back now. They had some problems in central midfield. They can get Cleverley, Hughes and Chalobah maybe out together soon. That would be desirable for them. Swansea, they're okay. The issue for them is the American signing Morris. That looked like help up top, and he's out for the season. So maybe a potential key injury. And we do worry about goals for Swansea and the lack of a number 9 all season. Injuries. Draws. If my 88-point total is anywhere near, then that means draws will kill potential promotion chases here. You cannot draw too many games. We had a situation this past weekend where all 3 of these teams, Brentford away at Blackburn, Swansea away at Luton, and Watford away at Cardiff, all just got over the line and hit that 3-pointer. You'd think now, and looking at a couple of my projections, wins. You can't absorb 2, 3, 4 draws in this last 10. It's not going to be enough. So draws could potentially be the end of a promotion campaign. And look at those last games as well, because draws in those games would really be killer at that point. And then I've gone specific. So Brentford's attack, Swansea's defence, and Watford's home form. So if you're a supporter of any of these teams, these are the things you'd be pinning your hopes on. So Swansea's defence, for example, if in their 11 games they can keep 7 clean sheets, for example, they've shown that they can win those games where they do keep clean sheets. So if that maintains, that's a chance. Brentford, I mean, football is about goals, essentially, have a more potent attack. I think 61 or 62 goals, something like that. They've got far more potent than any of the other teams. And it could be just creating chances over and again, the most possession, the most shots, the most chances created. That could be it, just churning it out over those final games. Although there are many cliches about defences winning you titles and promotions rather than goals winning you games, etc. And then the Watford home form. We know Watford have got 5 home games, 5 away games. At the moment, their home form is projecting that they would probably win 4, draw 1 and pick up 13 points from those 5 games. That would be very, very desirable for Watford. It would mean only a couple of wins on the road would probably do it for them. So if you are accentuating the positive from the point of view of any of those teams, those would be things you're looking at. And then, if it's still this tight when we get down to the final 4 rounds, then it's going to be head-to-head. Look at those final 4 rounds. So 4 games out. Norwich versus Watford. Brentford going to Bournemouth. So you're looking at, you don't know, Bournemouth could be back in the top 6 by that point. Who knows? They might be on the beach and it might be an easy game. Norwich might be on the beach. They might have won the title by then. But Watford could be going to Carrow Road with Norwich playing to win the title, especially if it's a direct opponent, because it could be a game for promotion as well, couldn't it? Say Watford are 3rd and Norwich are going on the charge still. It'd be the direct opponent that could literally mean they win that game and they're up. So, hard old game. And then just these last ones. Look, Reading, Swansea, and then the last 2 rounds, Brentford versus Watford, and then Watford versus Swansea. Could be a shootout. If it's tight with 2 to go, you wouldn't want to be Watford. Because, as you've just seen up there, they've got to go away to Brentford and then Swansea at home. If it goes down to the last day and it's still tight, you'd have Brentford in the box seat because they're playing against Bristol City, who will likely be on the beach at that point. And Watford and Swansea are duking it out in a possible winner-takes-all. Oh, it is absolutely fascinating. The race for the top 2, I can't call it. 10 games out, there's still a hell of a lot of football to play. I dare say I could do this video again in 5 games' time and still have not much of a clue. Remember, in terms of calendar, midweek this week, weekend, and then a week off, 8 to go, and then I think possibly a week off between the last 2 rounds as well. So no rest for the wicked, and it's just going to be go, go, go. I'm not going to sit here and make any highfalutin predictions. It's too much to call. I'm going to leave that to you, other than to say Norwich are probably going to finish first, and it's a race between these 3. Look, I've given you all the info. I've given you projections. I've given you whys and wherefores. So you let me know in the comments who are your 2 to go up. I hope it's exciting as I think it's going to be. We could get a scenario, of course, where one team wins 7 on the trot and leaves the other 2 in their wake. Hey, more power to them if they do. They'll deserve to go up. But we know the Championship, and it's going to be an absolute claw to the finish line, I think. Get in the comments. Give me your predictions on the race for the top 2. Over and out. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.